March 6, 2020. This date may not mean anything to some people, but to the students of MRH, it was a turning point. On that day, the first case of COVID-19 had made its way to Missouri. In about a week, the school was closed down and everyone was sent home.
School districts say they're saddened but ready to go the rest of the year with a closed building. Governor Mike Parson announced today that school buildings will stay closed for the rest of their school years. It leaves school districts still wondering what happens after that.
When we eventually came back, we were met with screens. And for 4 months, we stayed behind those screens. For some, it was painful to watch, and for others, it was practically heaven. It was met with mixed emotions, but we all agreed on one thing, that this couldn't last forever. And it didn't. Around the end of January, students were told to go back to school. Once back, we would stay 6 feet apart from each other, and during class, we would sit behind a plexiglass wall. Is this better than how it was? I don't know. Is it a start? Why not? Today, I have met with 5 individuals from sophomore to senior year to talk about their lives before and after the pandemic. Each of these students has something different to share and learn from. So now, listen to their stories and enjoy our pandemic aftermath.
What was your life like before COVID?
My life was really good. I was happy before COVID, and everything was going good. I was really hoping for a normal last year of high school. Then everything got shut down.
Yeah, it was a good year before COVID. Everything I feel like everything was just rolling, and I had a good pace going.
Pretty good. Everything was going good. Everything was was moving as normal as expected.
What were your interests before COVID?
For me, it was volunteering at the zoo, doing sports, just hanging out with friends. Then with COVID, I really couldn't do any of that, and I could only do it over Zoom.
It was working, playing basketball, hanging out with family and friends.
It was working, hanging out with friends, track, and just trying to stay outside as much as I can.
My main focus was to just get stronger in track. Make sure I've been I started training. Make sure getting prepared for that. So yeah.
What were you looking forward to next year?
I was looking forward to at least like a normal sense of normal last year of high school, because senior year is so romanticized. It's oh, it's gonna be this great year. But well, it wasn't.
I was looking forward to coming in the building to see everybody and stuff.
It's actually seeing people and being closer, but it's still the masks and the plexiglass just reminds you of how impactful COVID was.
In track, I wanted to win a lot of medals, and also I wanted to travel during the summer and do all kinds of stuff. Unfortunately, COVID took it away from me, so I couldn't really do it.
What were you involved in before COVID?
I was involved in volunteering at the zoo, volleyball, basketball for a couple years, track.
I was involved in basketball, track, and some other programs.
Track, coaching at the Y, and I was gonna do cross country.
The 2 sports that that would usually be involved in, track and cross country, and that's pretty much about it.
What classes were you interested in?
I was interested in exploring environmental science and AP environmental science and history.
I was interested in entrepreneurship,
geometry, pretty much all math classes, and history.
I was interested in more courses with Mr. Dixon.
What were you looking forward to before COVID?
I was looking forward to the next step, to go into college and just having last year of what I've been doing at the zoo, just last year with my classmates.
Just getting bigger, stronger, and faster on the court. and off the court.
I was looking forward to seeing people like mature and grow up and like just see like the change at school, but I didn't get to witness that.
Yeah, it's just not the same as it was.
During COVID, the skate park has really been affected because we couldn't like gather as a community. We couldn't like join together to learn tricks or work on tricks. We couldn't gather together and like base our knowledge off others and then learn from that and build up.
With COVID and cross country, it hasn't really affected us as heavily as track did. With track, basically, the entire season was cut off.
Track, we didn't really get to have it and everything. We only had like 3 to 4 weeks of practice.
So with track, we're pretty much taking our temperatures every day for practice, and then we're like doing practices and stuff. We had our first meet over break, which went pretty good.
With cross country, we were really lucky enough to have the opportunity to continue another season. Unfortunately, we didn't get that with track. So I guess that's one good thing.
Basketball season, we were getting ready. We was almost prepared for the season. And the school board didn't allow us to play and just messed up everything.
But with volleyball, we've been wiping down our volleyballs and stuff every day after practice, after games, but we haven't had any spectators for volleyball, so that's been kind of interesting. But with regards to trying to get our team like hyped up to be able to play and win, so yeah.
The pandemic brought uneasiness to all students. For a time that was supposed to bring change, this wasn't the change we were expecting. And even though vaccines are being flown out across the world, we still can't help but feel alone and lost as we continue on from what just happened.
It's a little stressful with the fact that I'm going off to college in the fall, with COVID still being a thing. Yeah.
Now, just trying to get back in the grind of like getting in shape for basketball, getting in shape for track.
Life now is just like do homework, try to stay like try to keep in touch with academic support and like get credits. Well, it used to be like going outside more and trying to skate as much as I can.
I said it's pretty normal. Nothing, there was nothing really drastically different between now and before COVID. So I said everything's pretty good.
Now I'm pretty much just trying to keep my mental state like as calm as possible and remind myself that there is another side to this and that things aren't always going to be this way. And when I said that to myself before, it felt more like it didn't feel as realistic. But now that like I've actually gotten vaccinated and I see that everyone around me is getting vaccinated, I'm feeling more optimistic than I did before.
Preventing me from being with my friends a lot and just being like at in-person like meetings at the zoo, just talking with them face to face and not over Zoom.
It prevented me from getting a lot of stuff done, like just getting bigger and faster on the court and off the court.
Like I said earlier, it was like it's been like harder for me to go and skate with people because of COVID, like the fear of getting it or fear of giving it to somebody, and just like gathering as a community.
Well, one of the biggest things I wanted to do was like, I wanted to go to San Diego, go to, see the sights and everything, but, that didn't happen, obviously. I wanted to go to Florida with my friend a bit earlier, but it didn't happen either, so.
It's prevented me from doing a lot of new things, but also it's prevented me from doing things that I kind of expected I'd be able to do, like things that like are normally in a person's regular routine. Just everything's been altered because you have to worry about how close you are to people, like if you're in a big group or not. Just like a lot of little things have been changing.
Just a little stressed out, but I'm sure everyone is.
I'm starting to feel better a little bit, but if this COVID stuff like completely went away, then I'll feel like I'll be back to normal.
I feel good because I feel like it's getting better, like we're getting back to what usual used to be, but I don't feel like we'll ever fully get there.
To be perfectly honest, No, not that different. I just feel, I just feel calm. You know, I don't feel, I don't, feel, sad or I don't feel like any type of like dramatic emotion. It's just, I think the mindset I have is just that, it's like this is just what it is. It is what it is.
We'll also have like the traditional high school things that we would normally do, like it's like homecoming, prom, spirit week, all that sort of stuff.
It's like, cause we're only here like half a day. I really don't really get to get help on a lot of stuff.
It hasn't really changed. Like I feel like COVID, like being on Zoom and stuff. I feel like that just like feels like the new normal.
You don't get to interact with with your friends or you can't really interact with the teachers because we gotta stay 6 feet apart.
I didn't really, like going into this year, I wasn't really going to have a normal high school experience anyways. But the fact that we were online made things a lot more confusing, first of all, because it's harder to prepare for something when you get told something's going to be one way and then it ends up being completely different. Like, I feel like everyone's just had to wing it at this point.
Not being able to see a lot of like people like I normally would see.
You always gotta worry about like who has COVID, and somebody's gonna sneeze, you get scared. Somebody's gonna cough, you get scared because you don't know who has it.
Not being able to interact with the teachers like at all because I didn't. Because like with new teachers, you usually get to know them, but I didn't.
You don't get to interact with with your friends or you can't really interact with the teachers because we gotta stay 6 feet apart.
I found like some of these shows to watch, which are pretty interesting. I've just been rewatching a bunch of stuff on Netflix. So
Yes, I started working at the YMCA, and I feel like that's just been like really helpful to get me through like the pandemic.
One thing I'm really grateful for is that a lot of things got released over the midst of the pandemic, like a lot of new albums, a lot of new shows. So like that was one thing that I think kept a lot of people going, was that there was still entertainment for us to look forward to. So yeah.
We hope this documentary relieves some feelings of loneliness because, well, we're all in this together. The world may not go back to how it was, but we still have each other to rely on. And maybe one day we'll be able to look back and see how far we've come.
I listen. Skip that question.
That's the last question.